All right, and unfortunately, I hit the record button right after Ellie said woo, but we were live when that happened at the very least. So that's a treat for everyone
Woo.
who's in the stream right now, which is probably, well, it says 2 viewers, but one of them is probably me. So hello, and welcome to Critical Recovery. This is a homebrew 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons campaign set in a persistent campaign world. My name is Crash. I will be your DM for the evening, and tonight I am joined by a bunch of awesome people, including Chris, Ellie, Io, Jen, Cindy. Archbeth is hanging out in chat. I imagine that eventually we will have an LFA typing yeet in chat, as often happens. And what happened last time?
We ran away.
Yeah, screaming
We did
a lot.
do that.
I mean, you bravely ran away.
And we climbed down a cliff, and then we made ice boats.
Oh, actually, I need to speak to you once we're done the recap.
Yeah, Gorga discovered she can shape water, and she's not sure how to feel about that right now, but she's definitely upset.
Gorga disliked that. That's got to be a cantrip. I need to add that to the game.
That must be a t-shirt, you know?
At least it needs to be a Discord emote.
Yeah.
Need to get the little like symbol, but then change its color or something, or put a nose sign around it. So yeah, basically you fought some creatures that were essentially the Demogorgon, not from Dungeons and Dragons, but the Demogorgon inspired by the name of the Dungeons and Dragons monster, but then turned into the Stranger Things monster, which was then imported, not by me, into Dungeons and Dragons. So it has gone full circle. You fought a bunch of those, and there was some damage done. Gorga, again, disliked that. But you won, and made a lot of noise doing it, so the Tarrasque showed up. Thava gave the order to Ryan to make sure the party got out safely, because Thava knew full well that if Thava did not give that order to Ryan, Ryan would try to buy time for the party by fighting the Tarrasque at level 4. And this would end exactly how everyone thinks it would end. There have been times where I provided intervention from a deity during combat, but we've already established some truths about Ryan's deity. So,
Yeah.
so the intervention, if a call was made, which probably would not be, but if a call was made, you'd be getting doo doo doo. We're sorry, the number you have dialed cannot be reached. We're sorry, the deity you have prayed to cannot be reached. If you stay on the line, the deity who has absorbed the previous deity's portfolio may get back to you, but you forsake them immediately upon absorption of the portfolio, possibly several years before. Our records are a little bit murky from the conversion process. So we're going to send this down to legal, but we'll get back to you in 2 to 3 weeks. And then they forget to send it down to legal.
I mean, the Tarrasque spikes, we can set up some hammocks. It's good.
May I query something?
You most certainly may.
So when before we started running, after we were told to run, I put Cuptog on Fava's shoulder. If Cuptog was squashed out of existence and sent back to the Nine Hells, would I be aware of that?
That's an excellent question about familiars. I don't know if there's an official lore answer to that.
Generally, you've said yes, and I know this because Bryn
Well,
has lost
when
contact
they were-
with Chip a lot.
When they were within range of controlling them, absolutely. You got out of control range very quickly.
Oh,
Yes, we did. We were running for our lives. That's
Yes.
why I was asking, because I wasn't sure.
Yeah, so
you
once
can
you
try
got
to summon
out of...
him and find out.
Yeah. What was your last order to Kleptog specifically? Was it just hang out on Thava's shoulder, try not to get her killed? Or was it just hang out on
Yes.
Thava's shoulder?
Hang out Fava's shoulder, try not to get her killed.
Okay, because I don't remember if that second part was something that Talia actually said or not.
That may not have been something Talia said. It may have just been me.
There's
we
a
were running.
footprint-shaped hole in the ground. Thava is squished flat, and Kleptog is there just hanging out on Thava's shoulder, like, I did what I said. Only have each of those words be replaced with some type of profane version of it, because this is Kleptog we're talking about. But no, you have not gotten any indication that Kleptog was poofed out of existence because you were out of range.
Okay. Thank you for clarifying.
So you have a long rest. How exactly do you have your long rest? Do you set up a full camp, or do you just like find a spot that's mostly out of the elements, or do you just sort of collapse?
Do I got my new spells before or after the long rest?
And how long have we
After.
been running?
You ran until you no longer heard the Tarask. So it was a significant portion of the night.
Yeah,
I'm
if
gonna
we're
say-
running away from Tarask, I think Gorga's just going to be up for collapsing wherever.
I'm gonna, yeah,
Same.
Talia would just drop.
Well, I
Make
have
her
to take
fatigue.
off my armor anyway, so I might as well lay out my bedroll.
Despite
Okay, so-
Talia's
fatigue.
asleep in a bush somewhere.
One of you makes
Yeah.
camp. The rest of you are just scattered to the nine winds.
Yes.
And did I hear something about new spells? Are we leveling up?
We leveled up,
level
we're 5.
Oh, okay, I'm already level 5.
You probably did that at the end of last week, but it's been a week, so you forgot about it. Not that I have ever done the exact same thing with any character I have ever played. No, I always... I can't say that with a straight face.
Yes. Despite her fatigue, Zuda will build a fire and make sure that everybody is not directly exposed to the element.
You lay out a bedroll and just drag Talia over to it, and you don't tuck her in, but you just sort of like drag her over so she's on top of the bedroll.
Pretty much.
Well, I'm sure she'll appreciate it, but at the moment all she knows is she's asleep in a bush.
She wakes
might
up
get
and there's
Ryan
several
involved
parts of the
and do
bush still in her hair.
I'm gonna get Ryan involved and do the transferring from a gurney thing. 1, 2, 3, lift.
Yeah.
Only it's a bedroll, so it's not really much of a distance to lift. It's more like it's roll her over slightly, but Ryan is incredibly strong, so she rolls over to the next bedroll.
Yep.
Which was on the other side of the fire. Whoops. That's not canon. That did not happen.
Right, I only have a strength of 14. I cannot do the Zax thing, where
Oh,
Yeah.
I
gosh, yeah.
succeed by too many and hurl things.
Right.
And by things, I mean people.
Also,
Sometimes
you are
it's-
a trained
Gorga has
soldier.
a strength of -1, so you're still pretty strong compared to her.
I'm
You
stronger
have
than
a
Gorgo.
strength of 8 or 9.
Also,
Hey.
Ryan is a trained soldier and therefore has some degree of competency with their level of strength. It's not like they
Yeah.
suddenly gain superpowers and they're like, I'm just going to tap this door and, oh, look, the whole house has collapsed. Like that.
Would
True,
be
that
funny,
is
though.
not the superpower Ryan suddenly gained.
No.
Would
Now,
be
if
real
we
And
can,
funny.
they've had them for a few sessions now.
if we can get you Zax's magical items that have increased Zax's strength to 25, that might be a thing we have taking place.
Might be a thing. Yeah.
But that is not currently the thing.
Right.
So a couple of you make camp. The rest of you collapse. You get
I'm
your long
assuming
rest.
Marley would collapse because yeah. Anyway,
And
go on.
Rhine, you have a dream, because of course you do. You don't remember much of it when you wake up in the morning, but you do remember Teriush was there. Teriush still seems somewhat spacey. Sort of like how they did the last time you saw them. So speaking reason to them is difficult, but the message Teriush gives you is that you shouldn't trust him, that he's not who he seems to be.
He?
Well, technically they.
Oh, okay, this is Teriush. Okay.
Yeah, this is Teriush.
Teriush is talking about themselves, not
No,
about...
Teriush is
okay.
talking about someone else. You can gather that. Teriush is saying that you should not trust them. They're not who they seem to be. And when you asked for details, you got a repetition of the statement. But Teriush was not referring to themselves in the third person, and therefore you got the idea that they were talking about somebody else. And when everyone wakes up in the morning, you wake up to the smell of 1, fresh coffee, and 2, freshly baked cookies.
I don't
what?
trust this.
Was it?
I mean,
what are we do?
I guess
Hello?
I've been busy.
no, you haven't been. But the person who's at the fire that you made is currently making, if you've ever heard of griddle cookies, which for those who don't know griddle cookies, imagine, if you will, cookies created the same way one creates pancakes.
Oh.
So not in an oven, but fried on like a hot plate or something. Now, the hot plate happens to be Ryan's shiny new shield, which is slightly less shiny now because it has taken a significant amount of a coating of soot from being placed almost directly on top of the oven. But as a magical item, it's not getting damaged.
As Ryan screams, "Hey!" Talia gets up with an Eldritch Blast charged in her hand. Just, what's going on?
Morley
What's
wakes up to
going
the smell of
on
coffee.
is not for cooking on.
I made coffee.
Who the hell are you?
Oh, do I recognize
Someone
this person?
who made. There's
You
someone who
have
made
never
coffee,
seen them before in your life.
I've never seen them before. Okay,
None of you
so
have
they're
seen them before.
definitely a friend.
interesting.
My shield.
Please don't
It's not
use
for
my
cooking on.
meat shield's armor as cookware.
I love
Thank
Gorgo.
you, Gorga. That is.
I must say, I
Very-
find your honesty incredibly refreshing. A pleasure to make your acquaintance. My name is Igneous Vulpine, Esquire, and I am a traveling mercenary lawyer. You'd be surprised how...
I
Well,
I
how
don't think we
profitable.
have need of either of those skill sets right now.
I feel like I'm going to set you on fire.
May I have some coffee?
Certainly.
What did they look like?
And what was the name again, sorry?
they look like a slightly older person. You can't tell, like, they're somewhat androgynous, but they are definitely slightly older. They have short-cut, sort of dull red hair. They are wearing purple robes, as if they were a spellcaster, which they possibly are. And they have a pince nez. I've given them a pince nez for the sole reason that I enjoy pince nezes.
What was their name
they're
again?
Igneous. I'll copy paste it in the chat. Igneous Vulpine,
Esquire.
Esquire.
So you're a mercenary lawyer.
Yes, sometimes more mercenary, sometimes more lawyer. It's amazing how much those two circles overlap in a Venn diagram.
Well, I would prefer they not overlap. I have never needed a lawyer in my life, and
You've had a pretty boring
may-
life, haven't you?
May I make an out of character comment?
no, I have not.
You may definitely make it out of character comment.
First of all, that name is pronounced Ignatius,
You are correct.
and it's a pun on Ignatius.
You
And
can
I'm just
call me
wondering-
Iggy for short if you wish.
Oh, I
But
hate you
as
so
long
much.
as you are not here to serve me with papers, fine.
Actually, I'm here because I was running from a giant beast that was rampaging a town that had already been destroyed and then was continuing to go across the countryside.
We're familiar.
So you saw the spiked turtle thing too.
Yes.
And sorry, what makes you think that it's a good idea to invade the camp of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sleeping people and not wake us up and still be alive in the morning?
I mean, I made you coffee.
And he'll sue us for damages if we hurt him.
I mean, he can't sue us for damages if I kill him.
Can I
You
have
most
my
certainly may try.
shield
You
back,
say that.
Igneous?
Also, would you like a cookie?
I would
No,
like my
I
shield
don't.
back.
I don't want a damn cookie.
I would like a cookie.
Iggy prestidigitates your shield clean and hands it back to you. Careful, it's still
Thank you.
a little
Can
bit
I-
warm.
Can I insight check him? Just, do I trust anything he's seeing? Like, at all?
Sure, go ahead, give an insight check.
I mean, if we're bringing up insight, I have a passive insight of 17 because
not
Gorgon
great.
notices things.
Not great. 14.
Well, Gorger definitely does notice things. So far, what you've noticed is Iggy has not told you any outright lies that you are aware of. Possibly the name, but, your name is whatever you can convince people to call you. So there's that. But Otherwise, he hasn't really given you much to go on. So there's not much to insight against. He doesn't seem to want you any harm. And the coffee's pretty good.
I haven't touched the
set
coffee.
expectations.
I am not
set
drinking
smells
the
good.
coffee.
properly.
So he's not
Set
outright
expectations
lying,
properly.
which means he's the least trustworthy of all.
Hmm.
Zuda,
What's Suda saying?
Zuda has a wisdom of +3 and is proficient in insight, just to set expectations properly.
Okay.
I rolled an 8.
Nah.
Oh.
Can I, since we leveled up, and I'm also so glad I have this, can I do a detect magic?
You may detect magic on the wizard. Yes, you may.
Doy, but like primarily looking at the coffee, the food, anything that he's trying to serve us.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, well, it's at Will's. I can do it constantly, so.
Okay, so the coffee is non-magical, but it smells delicious. There's something magical about the cookies. If anything, you'd say there's some type of protection magic built into it.
Well, I'm eating it anyway.
They're chocolate chip.
Right. Well, it
Molly
is
going to
very
ask
nice
for a
of
cup
you
of coffee.
to make coffee and breakfast and things, even if I do not approve of your cooking implements. But
Well, I wasn't going to go rifling through any of your bags, and the shield was right there. No harm done. It's magical after all.
And he cleaned it for you as well. May I have some coffee, please? It smells wonderful.
Oh,
You are
certainly.
the most. You are the
don't
most.
drink the coffee, Morley.
But why? It's right here.
You
It was so
are-
nice to make us coffee.
You are the most
coffee and the
trust
cookies.
person in the world, and I hate it.
The coffee
Marley.
is delicious.
The
See?
coffee
More
is, for
like
anyone who
they're
partakes,
alive.
it is delicious.
Don't
Um,
drink things strange lawyers give you.
Not
I mean,
all
that's
lawyers
just-
are bad.
That's just
It
good life
depends on who our
advice.
clients are, and right now, well, I'm on the market.
I can't promise that there's not a mild acid in them, but they taste very good, and the cookies feel awfully filling.
Right. Well, you do what you're going to do. I am going to spend an hour casting Find Familiar to bring my pet back.
Oh my
Okay.
gosh. Okay, so Morley is going to drink the coffee and have a cookie and sit down with Zuta to enjoy it.
Gorga is going to make her own breakfast, which may at this point just literally be berries she found nearby.
Ooh, actually, before I do
have-
that, before I try actually casting it, can I just try and summon him? Because if he's still alive, he should just summon.
Even if he's out of range?
Yes, because it takes them back to the Nine Hells and then brings them back to me.
Okay, when he appears back to you, because he actually did survive the night, he is covered in like minor scrapes, scratches, and you're pretty sure there's some poison ivy stuck to him in various places.
Oh, he survived. Wonderful. That's,
Also, his eyes look to be about twice the size they should be.
Oh,
oh, darling.
he is traumatized.
Kleptog looks
just
over
gonna-
at Morley, then
Maybe
looks
he's
back
been
at Talia,
to the Feywild.
and then points at Morley and snickers.
Has he been to the Feywild?
They've never seen this, but I just kind of take him and comfort him a little bit. As much
Well-
as we give each other hell, we do care for each other.
Well, Kleptog, I am probably never going to really play as Kleptog and Kleptog's voice because there's too much profanity in what I want to be a family-friendly
Yes.
edit.
Yes,
but,
Yes.
But imagine, if you will, Kleptog is not traumatized at all. Kleptog is from the Nine Hells. It's very hard to traumatize someone from the Nine Hells with anything on the mortal plane. Talia could probably manage it with a high enough roll because that's Talia. But this was not
Thank
the
you.
case. This is not the case. Instead, Kleptog is in awe.
Oh,
Kleptog survived the night. Now, Kleptog lost track of Thava about 4 hours in. Over those 4 hours, Thava routinely used methods of misdirection and a few amateurish but efforts at taunting with profanity. She's got a ways to go before she can get on Kleptog's level, but everyone has to start somewhere. But Fava, rather than doing a frontal assault against the Tarask, which, let's face it, would not work for more than one half of a round, managed to convince the Tarask that going in other directions was a good idea.
So she's alive.
Well, 4 hours in, they
Maybe.
lost sight of each other. So Kleptog shrugs. But it was a wonderful 4 hours.
Okay. Okay.
I've got hope. All right. So,
Good news. Yay. I'm going to not talk to the lawyer for 2 minutes. And then Tyler just goes off into the woods for 10 minutes to just not deal with him.
Kleptog goes over to the fire.
Talk to the lawyer.
Kleptog goes over to the fire, and Iggy hands Kleptog a cup of coffee. They nod at each other and then sip their coffee.
Of course, the thing from the Nine Hills trusts a lawyer.
I mean, well, I'm a lawyer. It's professional courtesy.
Very few can lie as well as a lawyer does by profession.
We don't lie. We just wipe our feet on the truth occasionally.
Crash, I'm going to pull my hood up in case it starts raining.
Oh, yeah, sure.
What? All right, look. You've been very nice, and my previous bad experiences with courts and stuff like that aside,
Oh, I hate
had
courts.
to pay so
Try not to
many
go there.
fines.
I find the
Is there
best lawyering
something-
happens outside of a court.
What's your specialty? Probate law? Inheritances?
Conflict resolution.
Conflict resolution. That seems like
I trust you even less somehow.
That seems like a very useful profession.
Well,
Is there
when you also do
something-
mercenary work, definitely.
is there something you want from us?
It is
Safety
true
in
we are
numbers.
we're being paid for our work in a certain regard.
Quid pro quo. Payment doesn't have to be monetary, but yes, we are getting paid for our work.
You are aware that we're currently on a continent that has, per volume, more diamonds and rare gems than the other side of the planet has combined?
Also, a lot more giant stompy thing.
Well, yes, there is risk
What do you mean
involved,
by
but
the other side of the planet.
I'm saying there's not much monetary that you could offer me for my services, considering the economy here it's something of a wasteland currently, isn't it? I think my payment for any services rendered would be adequate if it was just, say, a fair share, equal fair share, of any loot that is acquired along the way.
Wait, what do you mean by other side of the planet?
Well, you are aware that the continent of Circulus is on the other side of the planet from where we are now, right? I mean, I can tell from your accents. Like, young Morley over here is from the Baronies, for example.
Yes, exactly.
Yes. That's the other side of the world from here.
I assumed we were somewhere on the ring I'd never been.
Did anyone actually say Morley's name toward this person?
I'm
Yes.
assuming there was
I-
small talk.
Ryan said,
I was
Yeah.
saying, Morley, don't drink that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Look, it's been nice talking to you and all, but we've got clients too, and I'm not sure our clients want us pulling in random unvetted mercenaries.
Talia starts wandering back.
Well,
Talia's
he's
getting to
him.
see Ryan be suspicious.
Oh, he's still here. Jeez.
I haven't finished my coffee yet. I mean, they are my beans, and my percolator. So
And our fire, and our camp, and our everything else.
I also know heat metal. It didn't have to be your fire. The
If you
shield was
were to
borrowed,
be
yes, and I've
good-
returned it. Cleaner than when I found it.
So, nice as you are, I don't think our clients would be happy with us if we started inviting you along.
Iggy takes a sip of coffee, looks contemplatively at the steam that's still rising from the cup, and then shrugs. Well,
May I have a moment, please?
you may have as many as you want.
Zuta's going to pull Ryan aside.
Of course, because I put something else in my mouth.
Timing.
Sorry. Since we began this adventure, we have been dealing with creatures who are beyond our understanding.
And now you've got a lawyer. I just keep throwing them at you.
Fun fact, I'm related to a lawyer.
Talia would like to try and listen into this conversation, by the way.
Morley is going to
It is
ask our new
perhaps-
friend about the ingredients of the...
I'm trying to listen to Zuda. Sorry.
Gorga's going to try to overhear, and since she has a passive perception of 20, I assume that's going to mean she hears something.
Ooh, you beat Zuta now. It is perhaps not to our detriment to discard strangers when we might be entertaining angels unaware.
I don't think we're entertaining angels unawares.
Entertaining Angels,
I
by the way, is a great song by the Newsboys, but never mind.
I understand your trepidation.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do. But it harms us little to let him tag along for a little. Let's see what his intentions turn out to be before we dismiss him out of hand.
Not out of hand.
Ryan, I died because of a healer who refused to heal me after we paid him to heal everybody in the party. I don't get that feeling from. Do you have evidence that we should not trust him?
Terra doesn't like him.
Who? I'm sorry, I'm not familiar with that name.
Ryan's imaginary friend that isn't as imaginary as everyone thinks they are.
Oh.
Okay, so you
No.
know how
That's-
you're a cleric.
I'm no. That is
Okay.
that's Ellie having an issue,
Okay.
not
Sorry.
Judah.
But that would be another thing. How much information has Zuda given the party about Teriush?
Ryan has mentioned them.
Zuda has
couple
not
times.
given any information to the party about
Doesn't
Terry.
have any.
Oh, yeah. Accurate.
There you go. Excellent.
Ryan has mentioned them a couple times, mostly while talking to Morley.
Nothing too major to anyone, though, other than that, from what I can recall.
But Zuda would have picked that up.
Yeah.
Zuda is more perceptive than she lets on. Okay, then we will treat him with suspicion. But what did Terry say anything specific to you?
Don't trust them. They're not who they look. They're not who they appear to be.
I see.
Have Gorga and I managed to overhear any of this, by the way?
That's an excellent question.
I apologize for the drag racers going down the freeway next to me.
Nice.
It's just more people running from the Tarrasque.
Yeah.
I mean,
You're actually hearing
valid.
their feet. So I'm going to say right now you are hearing this.
Okay.
But give me a
Then
intelligence check.
Okay.
also Zuda still has her hood up.
I got a
I know.
16.
I got a 10.
Okay, so yes, you're hearing this, but you're not going to remember any of it. You're going to remember that there was a conversation, and you overheard it, and that there were concerns. And that's about it.
Even at a 16, I'm not going to remember
Yeah.
any of this.
Hmm. There are extenuating circumstances.
Okay.
Look,
I agree with you. We should not trust him. But there seems little harm in letting him tag along for a little. And if he causes harm, well, we fled from a dragon beast. We can just as easily flee from a lawyer.
You can't run from lawyers. They'll always find you.
Yep.
That was out of character, but 100% accurate.
I mean, not entirely wrong. I was sent here by a previous client. Now, there's the little trick of getting home. I have seemed to have lost my ride.
What ride would that be?
are we? Is the lawyer part of the conversation
I
now?
was going to say, was the lawyer suddenly part of the conversation?
Well, you were having a conversation and being a bit loud. So, yes, currently I am part of the conversation. My apologies. I didn't mean to overhear, but I'm right here. I'm just right here. And, to answer your question, a coworker of mine who happened to have the ability to cast wonderful spells which are not in my personal repertoire, like teleportation circle.
Oh, Lord, he's a wizard.
Was it the robes? Was it the robes that gave it away?
I was going to ask if natural or learned.
A little bit of both. But
He's a prep boy. Ugh.
is it the pince nez? Is it the pince nez that gives it away? I just think they're neat.
No, I like the pince nez.
I just like how the chain dangles. It's never mind. Well, in any case,
I just think they're neat.
well, I do. For some reason, you get the feeling that he's holding his pince nez like someone would hold a potato, but that's not the case. Thank you. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
In any
You're
case,
awake.
I don't currently have a way of contacting said coworker, and they are perhaps not even currently on this plane of reality due to certain recent events, which I do not care to relive the experience of. Maybe if I encounter them again, I will relive those experiences to their face verbosely. But currently, I'm without a ride.
Well, good luck with that. Are we packing up and
we
going?
don't have a ride either. Sorry.
But who's to say this isn't in our purview? Without Fava here to act as representative, we don't know what she wants.
Fava gave us a pretty specific task. Even
Run
if,
and live. That was it.
And
And-
we have done this.
Pretty specific.
And what if
run, live, and make sure something else stays dead.
our friend Vulpine is within our greater task?
Oh.
I'm
Why
not a
overthink
fan
this?
of me staying dead. I'm sorry, I don't get most of what you're talking about, but
We weren't a fan of
I can
most
take
of us
it or leave it.
staying dead.
You're not the thing we were told to make sure stays dead.
Yes.
Don't worry.
Also,
Yes. Well,
Yes.
well, in theory, if you
Also-
sprout tentacles, we're going to have questions.
Ixnay on the tell the random stranger everything, eh?
I'm trying to keep it vague.
Yes, and I appreciate that. Thank you, dear.
I mean, if you happen to be clients of mine, I would have to keep any and all information shared
Nope.
with me under the strictest of confidence.
Oh, my lord, we do not need a lawyer. I might, if this conversation continues, currently don't need one.
Because the comedy is too great. As Talia is saying we don't need a lawyer, I am going to pull my hood down and shake his hand and say you're engaged.
Big
Okay,
sigh for
I
the
would
Gorga.
I would also like Rhine to make an intelligence check as well.
Check or save?
It doesn't say specifically. Actually, it would be a check. It would be a check. I would accept investigation.
Ugh, my investigation isn't any better. And if it's not a save, I can't. Ugh!
Oh no.
Well, I will tell you that Iggy didn't roll much better. So, as you shake Iggy's hand and say you're engaged, he smiles, and then the smile kind of fades a little bit and says, "Well, don't get me wrong, I'm happy about this, but did we write anything down? Because I'm not quite sure what the terms currently are. It seems to have slipped my mind."
So, player
Oh,
question.
you're indebted
What
to
just
us for
happened?
life, and that's the terms?
I do not think I would agree to that again.
No, we'll work it out.
Again?
Long story.
So, player question. What just happened?
This is my
Someone
favorite
hired
item
a
ever.
lawyer.
Also a
For
mercenary.
some reason.
Also talented spellcaster.
And you make wonderful coffee. It reminds me of the coffee my father used to
Also half decent cook.
probably still makes.
And if you're in a
I'm-
situation where
I'm
we
pretty
can't
sure
light
the
a
terms
fire,
were you serve us for life with no compensation.
pretty sure I
Unless
would
they're
not have
serving us
agreed
for
to
life,
that.
I am not happy about this at all.
You can't remember
Why don't we
the
take a break?
terms, so how are you to say that my terms are wrong?
Well, nothing.
You're the
got
one making the
written down.
claim, so therefore you're the one who must provide the proof.
Crash,
Of
why don't
course
we
you're a
fly?
lawyer.
Maybe we will need one though. You never know.
And even if you don't need a lawyer, as I said, I'm also a half decent cook and a decent spellcaster.
Don't care. Don't care about any of them.
No, I say lawyer walks that direction and we walk this other direction.
I agree. Zuda, I don't know why you want or need this lawyer, and why you specifically, I'm pointing this out right now, you specifically, I have no affiliation with this person, have hired him, but I'm not happy with this at all.
I understand. And if it comes down to it, I alone will be
I
responsible.
cast Zone of Truth.
I alone will
Gorga
be responsible.
dislikes that.
What's the save?
15 charisma. That's everybody.
Oh, we all have to roll?
Everyone within the
Oh,
zone.
now
Everyone
I get
in the
nat
zone.
20.
Okay, what am I clicking on to roll? I got
I rolled a 9, so Gorga's just basically doing that thing where she shoves her hands in front of her
I rolled
face.
a 19, so I succeeded. So I don't have to tell the truth.
Okay, so Jen,
Zura
over on
also
the
rolled a
left-hand
9.
Yes.
side,
But nothing she has said
Uh-huh.
has been false.
over on the left-hand side, under Strength,
no,
Dexterity, Constitution, you've got your saving throws in the box directly below that. Click on the Charisma
Okay,
one.
which one was I supposed to? Charisma,
CHA.
okay. I got 17 plus 6 for 23.
Okay, so
Oh, you
I
can
expect
lie through your
Morley to pass.
teeth.
Yeah. So
really
the two charisma users, we passed.
Yeah.
For the
Three
record-
charisma users.
Oh, you're a charisma user too. Yeah, so 3 of us.
For the record, Vex got a 3.
What it? Because I would know. Because I'm double checking. Do I know if who fails and who succeeds? Till the spell ends on a failed creature. You know whether each creature succeeds or fails. Does the lawyer succeed or fail?
Oh, Iggy fails.
Okay, so as of this moment, a lot of us, a couple of us can lie. I look at the other warlock and Rain. Everyone else has to tell the truth for the next 10 minutes. I look at Zura. What is going on?
I am engaging Iggy personally
Why?
We haven't set a date yet, though.
because I believe it is in our best interest.
Sorry, someone came out of the room. That's not
Do you need
really.
me to repeat that?
No, I heard your personal reasons, and those reasons would be
No, I said because I believe it would be in our best interest.
because we believe in our best interest, right? And how would a random stranger that we know nothing about that snuck into our camp in the middle of the night could have slit our throats
And didn't.
be in our best interest?
And for the record,
False sense of
you
security.
slept in? I was here 2 hours after sunrise.
I don't care when you got here.
Then why did you cast Zone of Truth to make sure I'm honest
Ahem.
about it?
Casting Zone
Right.
of Truth was a bad idea
Let's settle this.
because now I have to speak the truth.
Yes,
But you don't have to give answers. Anything you say must be the truth. But you do have the ability
that's
to remain
entirely
silent.
down to you. Yes, you have the ability to remain silent.
You're not going to start spouting off whether or not you wet the bed at age 5.
Gorga is
it'll-
exercising her right to remain silent very enthusiastically.
No, because Talia is not bothered about questioning Gorga. Gorga doesn't trust this person who appeared in our camp in the middle of nowhere that we have no idea about. So the only person that is being questioned, and I'm sorry, Ellie, but
No, it's fine.
Talia, this is exactly what Talia would
absolutely
react to
fine.
all of this.
And no, I understand completely. I am responding in character. Out of character, I 100% I'm right with you.
Okay.
In character,
Mhm.
because we have not been given enough information about our mission, because he may play a part in it. It's he, right?
I'm not
Has to
keenly
tell the
joked, but
truth.
he's fine. Most people assume.
Has to tell the truth. He failed. He has to tell. They have to tell the truth.
Yeah.
And
know.
they seem to indicate they're gender fluid or non-binary.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely right.
Okay.
Without Thava, we have no way to know what our next direction is. And this may be our next direction.
Look,
This
I wouldn't
Thava
have cast.
person.
I wouldn't have cast.
You go.
I would not have cast Zone of Truth, but I have a question that should not force you to reveal anything unless it forces you to reveal something. So, Iggy, to your
Yes.
knowledge, will you traveling with us cause us any kind of harm or something we're likely to think of as harm.
I have no control over what you will think. Several of you already assume that I am a bad influence. So, I can't...
you think a reasonable person would think is harm. Like,
well, I am a lawyer.
Yeah.
But
and that makes me trust you so much less.
To answer your question, as I am under the influence of the same sort of truth that most of us are apparently at this moment, I notice that Gorga's incredibly silent. That's good for you. Good. You've spoken to lawyers before, I can tell.
Critical lawyer.
Gorga glares.
But I have said nothing but positive things about you. I like you as a person. But in any case, I have no intention of doing harm to anyone who can currently hear my voice.
Is there anyone that you have any intentions of doing harm to that could be considered innocent, unnecessarily harmed?
I was going to answer in the affirmative until you added that clarification at the end. Remember, I am somewhat upset with a coworker of mine.
Iggy, I have 2 questions for you, and these, I hope, will help settle some doubts that my companions have. The first is this. What is the name that most of the people who know you by?
A name I don't like, so I don't care to share it. You may call me Iggy, or Mr. Vulpine, if you prefer.
What is the name of the co-worker who abandoned you here, by your telling?
I can't answer that.
You can't, or you won't?
I have been ordered not to share that information, and I am bound by that agreement.
I have a question for our friend, if you don't mind very much. It is probably very trivial. You make coffee that reminds me of the coffee my father made. I am wondering, do you know him? And is he okay? Is he still alive?
I'm not surprised you find the recipe to be somewhat familiar. It's a blend that I picked up in the baronies. So I imagine you did in fact grow up with it.
Okay, that explains the coffee, but do you know my father? I miss him. I hope he is okay.
Do you know your father?
Yes, of course. He is my father.
Well, we've just met.
I don't understand what...
Do you know my father?
No.
How am I supposed to know yours?
That I am aware of. Well, you made the same type of coffee, so I thought maybe you learned it from him, because...
Half the baronies make this coffee, but it's a matter of grinding the beans right before you brew it, not grinding them and then storing them that way for 3 weeks.
Exactly, yes. That is how this coffee is.
Yes, and any...
Iggy, I have one more question, and I apologize for my overstepping. What is the common name of the place where you were born?
I don't like to talk about that.
I feel like you are stretching this zone of truth ruling real on that line.
Is the place where you were born somewhere on this planet?
At this moment, Zone of Truth wears off.
I mean, I can cast it again.
That's even
I
10
don't
minutes
think-
out of character.
I was gonna say, I don't even think I was 10 minutes out of character.
I've already told you, it's not something I like to talk about. There are plenty of things in my own history that I do not enjoy. I have many regrets. I imagine everyone does.
I understand. I do too. Regardless, I personally choose to engage you as my lawyer.
Then I personally choose to go in that direction away from him.
We are
Very well.
not
We'll follow you.
splitting up.
He went around this zone of truth so awkwardly. He rode that line. I trust nothing from what he said because that was such a line. This has helped nothing about about making me trust him, and I am not going to be with him. You
Lawyers,
can be. That's
by
fine.
their nature, have to keep
You can
secrets. You can use Zone of Truth all you want, but it will not get me to betray people for whom I'm not allowed to betray. That is part, as much as you hate lawyers, and as much as that hatred is very well deserved on a lot of cases, that is something we hold sacrosanct.
Which is exactly why I say you should walk that direction, and we'll walk the opposite direction.
Yes, exactly. And I'm going in the opposite direction of him, regardless.
We are not splitting up while our boss isn't here.
I
Because
do
then
not
she
trust
is not
him.
going to find us again. I do not trust them
Unless
either.
Fava or the goddess herself stops in to say, go with this lawyer, I am not going with this lawyer.
Exactly.
A specific goddess?
Tell nothing.
Shut up.
You shut up.
I'd just like to note that even without the zone of truth, you've given away much more than
I haven't mentioned anything. I continually say I just don't trust him. I have not mentioned anything about who we're with, what we're doing, why we're here. That's other people. I don't trust him. Plain and simple. I want nothing to do with him.
That's fine. You're not the one who's currently employing me.
Exactly. So I'll go in this direction. You go in that direction.
You're not currently employing me. You don't get to tell me which direction I'm going in. I will wait for Miss Zuta, I believe, to let me
Zuta,
know which
yes.
direction I should be marching in.
Talia.
No.
If you would prefer to not have the benefit of my healing
Ooh,
and
that's
to
a low
face
blow.
death without my presence to save you, then please walk in whichever direction you please.
It's not the first time I've been on my own. Not the first time I've faced death alone.
Very well.
We're all under a contract. Even if I don't like this,
Talia turns around, raises her right hand, see you losers, and walks off.
I think that's a good point for a break.
Yeah.
I think so too. But as we are fading to black, Iggy just says one last thing. And he says this with a low enough voice that he's not exactly intending for Talia to hear it. She's wrong, you know. She wasn't alone. And now we're going to take a break. We're back, and here is the $1,000 question. I do not actually have $1,000. I have been asked by my legal team to point that out. Thank you, Iggy.
Good legal team.
Never lied to me. So, Talia has gone off in a direction. Who follows?
I'm going with Talia because I don't trust the lawyer.
have you forgotten we've got a job to do and we need to do it together, whether we like it or not?
Yes.
We have a job to do. Said lawyer is not part of that job.
Thank you,
Iggy, by
dear.
the way, has taken leftover cookies and put them into small bags of like 4 or 5 and is distributing them to anyone who wants some.
Oh.
I am going in this direction. Gorga is clearly coming with me. I'm going to go do what we're supposed to do.
Which
Not
what
deal with
exactly?
him.
But how do you know what we are supposed to do? Thava did not tell us anything beyond the run and live.
I am not
DM
discussing
voice,
what we're
Thava
supposed to do
told
as
them
long
to
as
do
he's
more.
here. I am not discussing what Thava's supposed to do, what told us to do while he's here. End of
Do
story.
you have a way of...
Suda is
Said
Make
lawyer
the
isn't going to help us
situation-
in that way, and the more people we let in on this, the more ways things can screw up.
And the
And I will
more
remind you, I am on your side on that one, but Suda is not. Suda has forced the issue, and now we have to decide whether we're sticking together as a party or if some of you are breaking our contract.
I am telling you right now, I have no intention of breaking the contract in regards to what we need to do, but I'm not doing it with him here. If that means splitting up and going in two separate directions, that's what happens.
I can
the contract
step over
does
there
not,
out of earshot for a while you discuss things.
Good
the
idea.
contract
Leave.
does not lie with me. If you choose to leave
Iggy has walked off, by the way.
and pursue the contract on your own terms, that is up to you. And I wish you the best of luck.
We were hired as a team.
No, we weren't hired, dear. We were brought back to life. And we were told this is what we have to do with our new lives. And that didn't include meeting random strangers. Fava told us to run. Fava told us to survive. We did that. We have survived. We need to regroup and get information and find out what we have to do. Not jump into bed with some random strangers.
Iggy, by the way, is over on top of that hill over there, within eyesight, but clearly has his fingers in his ears and is apparently humming a tune to himself. It's off key. It's very off key.
Zuda is meditating.
Oh, good plan. Morley is confused.
We were given orders to make sure something that's dead stays dead. We were not given orders that we have to hire every lawyer we run across.
Well, we've only run across one that we know of. It's not
One
that
too
great.
many, dear.
And I did not want to hire the lawyer, but now the lawyer is here, whether anybody but Zuda likes this situation or not. We do not have a lawyerless situation as an option anymore, apparently.
Yes, we do. And I am choosing that option.
I mean, there absolutely, I'm saying this out of character, there absolutely is a lawyerless option. It involves leaving
Gorgon
Zuda.
just tries to murder the lawyer.
Zuda is
First thing we'll
staying
do-
with
Gorga
the
would
lawyer.
not be opposed to this action, actually, but
Talia would
she's
not be
not gonna
opposed to this
listen
under
to
any
that.
circumstances.
Zuda is staying with the lawyer. If that's the wrong decision, then Zuda is going to die while she's meditating, and she's okay with that.
You guys are welcome to stay here, but I'm going off. I'm going to go find the person who brought us back to life, the person who has told us to run and to use herself as a distraction to make sure we lived. You have fun. Gorga, you coming?
yes, I am.
Great. I give you a week before you kill each other at most. Come on,
I
Zuda
tried.
and Morley, let's get working.
I
Ryan,
don't think they're
Morley?
going to kill each other. Yes?
You have no obligation to stay with me. I have died once. I can die again.
But probably today.
If you believe that my choice is correct, you may stay with me. If not, please go with Talia and Gorga.
Can I just very quickly say, if there was ever going to be a party split, this is what I expected. This is the two groups I expected.
Wow.
Zuda,
I'm remembering every party split that's happened in the past and how much work I had to do to get the parties back together only to immediately have them split again on separate lines.
Zuda, I think that you are making the wrong choice. And I also think that you understand that this is supposed to be a squad. So you know what? They can wander off if they want.
And also, out of character, I have a character that I am more than happy to pull in.
Yes, so do I.
And
Will they speak with an affect?
Oh, they probably will.
Will they be very happy to be here?
Oh, no. They will be exactly the opposite of Arepa.
Arepa is such a
They'll
good
be
character.
really, really happy to be here.
Oh my gosh, I love and hate it already. It's like, you got your coffee really early in the morning, didn't you? I didn't have coffee.
What's coffee?
You are a natural. On second thought, no one give them coffee. This is their baseline. No one give them coffee.
Seriously, though, out of character, I'm okay with Zuda leaving the party at this.
Out of character, well, Ryan disagrees with Zuda here. Ryan...
I think you need to take out of character out of it because
Yeah.
I think all of us are willing and happy for this to happen.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't have a character pre-baked, but yeah, if I need to, I can make another character before
You
next
do have a
session.
character pre-baked. They are Otterfolk, and you've already
Also,
added them to the party.
Also, not gonna lie, kind of excited to see Gorga and Talia's adventures as a one-off somewhere.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, if we're doing that, then I need to fill you into some of Gorga's backstory that hasn't come up in play yet.
Yeah,
Gorga and Talia is this generation's Laverne and Shirley.
But Ryan and Morley, if you think Zuda's making the wrong decision, then genuinely, honestly, go with Talia and Gorga.
Ryan thinks Zuda's making the wrong decision, but isn't willing to abandon what they see as the part of the party that actually wants to be a party.
Well, I mean,
they think that Talia and Gorga are throwing a tantrum because they didn't get what they want. I'm sorry, that's a very rude way to put it, but that
No, but that's
Ryan
no,
is
that's-
thinking.
Fine,
that's kind of what it is. But at the same time, I think both Gorga and Talia are both doing this because they just want to make sure we're all safe. But at the same time, it's kind of a tantrum.
Oh, it most definitely is a tantrum, which is why someone needs to have their fingers in their ears and hum a tune off key in order to not overhear conversation.
Right.
There's a really important point to be made here, too. Zuda made this agreement without anybody else agreement. She didn't take anybody else into consideration. She just did it.
Zuda does not have a pattern of behavior of doing that.
Exactly, which is why this should be viewed with suspicion, especially by Ryan, who has specifically been told not to trust this person.
Why are you trying to make it so specific that Zuda's the one that goes? I'm kind of curious. That's all.
I'm not trying to make it specific that Zuda goes.
Ryan wasn't told
I-
not to trust Zuda. Ryan was told not to trust someone. That's an important
Right.
distinction.
That's
And
true.
Ryan's choosing to trust Zuda.
Ryan was told not to trust them, and specifically not him.
Ryan
And-
knows what they were told, and Ryan would rather try to get Zuda out of the bad decision results than deal with Talia and Gorga as their new traveling companions.
But excuse me. To answer Chris's question, I'm not trying to. I'm trying to level the playing field because so far it sounds to me like Io and Jen are thinking about Talia and Gorga as throwing a tantrum, and
Which we were.
the fact of the matter is that Zuda made this decision without consulting with anybody else, without anybody else's agreement. It was, but by any reasonable consideration, a decision that only benefits. She didn't take anybody else's benefit into consideration except her own, and so that needs to be taken into consideration.
It is, but this
And
isn't the way
and I'm-
Zuda always behaves, and therefore Ryan's willing to stick by her and go, "Did you learn your lesson?" after it's over.
And the second and much less interesting argument is that I've got a character that I'm really interested in playing.
Okay.
Darn you, Tasha's
not-
Cauldron of Everything being released and giving us so many more wonderful, glorious options.
The worst part is this character was built before Tasha's.
Oh, and
Still valid.
But I as a player am fine with Zuda leaving the party. And I don't know how fine anybody else is with their characters leaving the party. So I am trying to.
I've said before and I'll say
Yeah,
again, but if I need to make a new character, then yeah, I'll have a new character ready by next week. It's literally no problem for me.
I am just literally. I'm trying to make this game as accessible to everybody else as possible.
I am doing exactly what Talia would be doing in this situation. So I am 100%. And again, I am one of those people that I hate when I actually don't like our home rule of no insta kills. Personally, that's just me, because I like dealing with the consequences of player choices and player actions. This is a consequence of the argument between the two characters, and I am okay and 100% to see that out if Talia is the one that leads.
Absolutely.
May I
Absolutely.
interject?
And
Mhm.
and if Zuda meditates until everybody else is out of range and then falls over dead, I accept that. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Crash.
Okay, so one of the things that I adore with our circle of friends that plays this silly game multiple times a week is that we work very well together. We create characters that often have a lot of conflicts with each other, but we as a group work incredibly well with each other and enjoy reveling in those conflicts because we know that they are fake conflicts. We have created them out of whole cloth.
They're character conflicts.
Yes,
Right.
exactly.
We so rarely have player conflicts.
Yes, and on the rare occasions where that happens, we usually have a discussion and we work things out. So it's usually...
Yeah, we can talk it out.
So with all of that said, I think we've spent the last half hour talking about how we're all okay with this.
Yeah.
And then we repeated this again. Yes, for the past half hour.
Yeah.
So this is, for those who are involved with the 8:30 game, this is the room with the green circle.
Oh, that stupid room.
Yes. we have a name for it now. It's the green circle. So what I am going to say, what Iggy is planning on doing is, if Iggy finds out that the party has left Zuda behind, Iggy will propose negating the contract, because he can't really remember it anyway, because Zuda shouldn't have to be alone with Iggy. They just met. And Iggy didn't show up with the intention of splitting a party. There's safety in numbers, there's less safety in fewer numbers.
As things stand, I think the only way Ryan doesn't stay with Zuda is if Morley leaves.
Okay, so here's what Morley... I am not like the rest of you. I am not an adventurer. You know this. You've seen how terrible I am at casting Eldritch Blast.
You didn't even take an arrow to the knee.
Oh, not yet.
God
Doing a
damn
crossbow,
it,
this
Aaron.
could happen accidentally. But all I know is I am very home. I miss my father. I miss where I grew up. I miss my mother. This man has brought me coffee that reminds me of home. I want to, so I will stay.
He did say he had no interest of harming anyone while he was under the effect of his own truth.
Yeah.
It's true.
Specifically, no one within the sound of his voice, so he included everyone who could hear him, whether or
And
not they
I'm
were
pretty-
listening.
Yeah. All right.
I'm a little disappointed.
I'm sorry.
Oh, I
Out of
just,
character.
I
I'm
can't
a little
imagine.
disappointed.
Oh, but I can't think of anything. I can't think of how Morley would react other than that. You know?
No. I am not disappointed in Morley's reaction.
Ah.
I am disappointed that I don't get to play this character.
Well, maybe not yet. I mean, you never know.
I mean, you're on the same continent as a Tarask. Don't give up hope.
That's a fair point.
Anybody need a potion?
Oh my goodness.
Oh my lord.
I love the
Wow.
character design already.
Oh wow.
Oh, you made an artificer. You made an
Artificer with the uranium bulb, apparently.
You made an artificer that's an alchemist. They're the alchemy version of Chroma.
Oh my
Pretty
gosh.
much. Who needs healing?
Instead of yelling
Not me,
science, you
please.
yell chemistry.
What a fascinating character.
Glorious. Absolutely glorious. Don't give up hope. There's still the opportunity to play this character. But it sounds
That's
like
an arrow. Arrows are so primitive.
the arrow is just the delivery mechanism. It actually contains a very concentrated laughing gas.
I think she's already laughing.
She wasn't the target. Okay, well, in any case, what it sounds like is after
Yeah, but splash damage.
what it sounds like is that after 45 minutes of discussion, Talia and Gorga have gone off. No, it's fine. I posted in Twitch chat that as a DM, I love when I have so little to say. But we'd reached the point where everyone was repeating their points. So it was time to step in. So Gorga and Talia go off, and a little while later, the rest of the party catches up to them.
We do.
Well, everyone who chooses to, because what I said about
Yeah, that's
Iggy
fair.
is true. If Iggy sees that he's splitting the party, he asks to be relieved of his duties and leave, because it's not fair.
All right.
He doesn't think that he should split a party because he makes good coffee.
That's a fair cut. And I relieve him of his duties and send him on his way and apologize.
It's fine. I wish I could remember what I agreed to, but that's gonna bother me for a while. I do hope we meet again under pleasant circumstances.
I hope so too. Best of luck to you, and I hope you find your friend.
Friend.
Wait, he was looking for someone? That is literally new information to Gorga. Gorga will take note of it.
Gorga can't take note of it. Gorga's walked off. But also, Iggy never said friend. Iggy said coworker, and was very specific about how he felt about said coworker.
I know. Zuda knows. Zuda frames it that way specifically because, well, it's kind of frowned upon to kill your coworker.
Says you.
Yeah. I'm just going to put this out here. I don't know how everyone else feels, but I feel like this whole ordeal has just made a potentially unrepairable rift in this party.
I mean, you felt that way about Thava at the beginning.
Killing your companions, that's completely understandable. Killing your co-workers, well, then there's wrongful death suits.
Well, they also outrank me.
Well, see, and then it looks like you're just trying to move up in the ranks instead of, getting revenge.
Before. I'm not sure it would work for me. He's got friends. Thank you. And to you as well. I hope all goes well with the thing that you haven't told me what it is. And Thava.
Honestly, I can't remember if we told you what it is.
You did not. There were some secrets that were spilled, but the thing that was repeated the most was that you were told to run and not die. So good luck with the running and not dying, and the other things which I don't know. And the goddess, I don't know if that was a personal goddess or whatever. Good luck with that. Stay in touch.
No.
I'm not talking to you. You're out of earshot. You've been out of earshot for 45 minutes now. We just switched to like a cartoon version where the camera moves back from a TV screen and we see a cartoon version of Gorga just pop up and interject comments and then pop back down again. Gorga is this campaign's Deadpool now.
I feel like there's a lot of profanity and just
your imp is
talks
with you.
With Gorga and Talia walking away, just bad-mouthing people.
The imp offers suggestions.
Talia listens.
The imp is glad.
Right.
Because the first step to improvement is being willing to learn. Now, if you can just work on dislocating 3 of your fingers, you can work on the hand gestures.
Ella, you sound very far away.
Time to make a coffee platform and surf after Talia and Gorga.
Iggy does hand you a small bag of cookies for the road.
What?
No, when you say surf, do you actually mean like surf?
No, I'm more concerned with what Iggy handed us.
Yeah, I said Iggy made a lot of cookies. And partway through, I mentioned that he was putting them into small bags, and he was handing them out to anyone who wanted some. So if you canonically want your character to have a small bag of chocolate chip cookies, your character can have a small bag of chocolate chip cookies.
Yes, Morley
You
would like
chopped
that.
up your voice chopped up on the way over here, and what I heard was turkeys.
Yes, you can have a small bag of turkeys. We're recording this right after Thanksgiving, so you cannot escape the leftovers.
Actually, the funny thing is I did escape leftovers because my dad forgot to bring them over.
Oh.
It's only a matter of time.
On the other hand, I kind of would like some leftovers. Anyway, no, coffee thing was a joke. We will trek after Talia and Gorga.
Okay. Right. And Iggy goes off into the sunset, which is really weird because it's only around noon right now.
Well, that was something.
That was a mistake we almost made. We fortunately didn't, but we almost did.
Oh, have we all met up now? Okay.
Are we all caught up now?
Literally and figuratively?
Or is the party unsplit?
If you all go to catch up with the 2 who left, then yes, the party is unsplit.
Okay.
Well, I guess we've got...
Out of curiosity, who ate the cookies besides Morley?
Morley did.
I did not. Gorga did not eat
I'm asking
anything
who
touched
did.
by that guy.
I'm asking who did. So Morley
did. Yes.
did.
and Zuda.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The DM will remember this.
And
There's a
all
little
I can say is, oh dear.
You see the little save icon appear in the corner and just spin for a little while.
Oh no! Okay.
And you approach very quickly. Like, you go around a bend and then you're like right there. A town. Well, what's left of a town. You are not surprised at all that you have come to the ruins of a town, considering you're on the same continent as a Tarrasque.
I didn't get an answer. Are we all together again?
Yes.
Okay.
This town does not appear to have been trampled down, though. It appears that most of the damage was through fire. Significant amounts of it. And someone has already guessed, there appear to be a lot of bodies. Most of them are horizontal. There are a few who are up and shuffling around.
Zombies? Are we dealing with zombies?
The ones that are shuffling appear to be totally oblivious to their surroundings. There's one over there that appears to be walking into a wall. And based on how low it is, it appears to have been walking into the wall long enough to slowly dig a ditch with its feet. And it has dug a hole for itself as it continues to walk into this wall, which is a feat, really, because there's not much wall there. The building that it's walking into is mostly apparently made of metal, so it didn't burn down, but it appears to have had large portions of it ripped out.
How far apart are the Walking Dead?
Very far apart. You could very easily gang up on them and do one fight at a time.
Are there any that are within 60 feet of each other?
You're not sure there's any that are within 120 feet of each other that are moving. If you are going by ones that are also laying down, which you're not sure those are animate, then yes, there are plenty within 60 feet.
I'm going to ask the rest of the party to stay back. Is there a...
I mean, telling
there
Gorga
like
to
a-
avoid zombies, that's not something you're going to have to ask her to do twice.
And the rift
Is there
is
a-
sealed.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was just
The
saying.
rift
is sealed because now you all agree maybe staying away from the zombies is a good idea.
Well, yes.
Well, I'm going to go to the central crossroad in the town.
Okay, you've got a rough idea of
And-
where that is.
Well, okay, the central crossroad that I can see.
Yeah.
And whistle to try and attract the undead's attention.
Okay.
This is
That's a
an
strategy.
idea.
That is definitely a strategy. So, roll me either a persuasion or intimidation check. Your choice.
I think I want to
Uh,
follow.
Persuasion is 18. 13
Okay.
plus 5.
So, none of the zombies seem to notice you when you whistle. They're still stuck doing what they're doing. It's possible that the ones that are aware of their surroundings enough to attack things have been downed, possibly for quite some time. A lot of the bodies that you passed on your way to the crossroads area looked like they had been very heavily singed or smashed, but a significant number of them looked like they had been fed on by carrion eaters. Like those vultures that your whistle caught the attention of, that immediately flew up into the air. Yeah, those are, well, they're not Nagpa. Nagpa look like anthropomorphized vultures, but they do not have the power of flight by use of wings. By magic, yes. Wings, no. These things flying into the air, there appear to be 4 of them, definitely are flying using wings. And they are the largest, meanest vultures you have seen ever.
I am definitely heading towards Zuda now.
Interesting.
Yes, so are they.
Talia's still staying at desk.
And that's where we're going to end it for tonight.
Oh, I see how it is.
Gorga's
because we're
probably going
recording
to
for almost
pull
2
out her
hours.
short bow, but that's about it for now.
You decided to not tire the lawyers, so therefore you have to fight vultures. It's almost the same adventure. Thank you, everyone, for playing. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Tonight we were joined by a bunch of awesome people, including Chris, Ellie, Io, Jen, Cindy, Archbeth. Is there anyone who wants to plug something?
Wait, Ellie was here?
I know. You
Does
owe
she
her $5.
still owe you money?
She still owes me money.
Oh, jeez.
Look,
We need
you
to
know
get that
she's
sorted.
good for it. So who wants to plug something?
Oh, yes, plugs.
I got to plug my phone in.
Patreon.com/Cogwheel Gaming.
Yep,
Keep
that's
the lights
one.
on.
Yep.
Yay.
You can be like a bunch of awesome people, including Chris, Ellie, Eric, Janatalock, Mickey, Shen Shen, and Walter. But that's not the only thing to plug. Chris, you got something.
I do. I do a fortnightly podcast about video games and all the things. We've been focusing on the Shadowlands launch, and we're going to have a new episode next week discussing how surprisingly smooth it was for most servers. Not all, definitely not all, but most. Azrael Coast to Coast, it's azraelctc.com.
My website is bookofgen at bookofgen.net. It's got a bunch of podcasting things and video game things and stuff that has nothing to do with that all over the site. I add stuff as often as I can. And I also am now, well, have been for a while actually, the host and editor of the Shattered Soulstone podcast, which is all about Diablo 3 and the community surrounding it. And that's at shatteredsoulstone.com.
Eo's mom's writes books.
And you can find them at elizabeth-mccoy.com.
Yeah, Eo's mom.
Woo!
Okay, and until next time, this is Crash saying, what? Yes, I did try to make a best impression. I did very well. I think I did very well, but they seem to have a thing against lawyers. Yes, I'm not too surprised you. Well, better luck next time.
Curse you, Crash, curse you.
Chris is
This
so
is
glad
Ellie
that we stuck our heels in.
Good night,
And
everybody.
this is Ellie saying, look, I told you you could leave.